Some of you know me, and some of you are surprised to see me up here in front of a biotech company. I am too, by the way. But this may be the most important company I've invested in over 150 companies in the last 22 years, a little over $1 billion through our various funds, and this might be the most important company I've ever launched in my career. Where are the slides at? On the sides? Okay, there we go. Multiple myeloma is a terminal cancer. 35,000 new cases a year. It's an orphan disease, so a small number. And while patients can get into remission, they don't stay in remission. They come out and they fall out. There are 6 major drugs in the category right now that are the most active, and there are many others and more on the way. But what happens with multiple myeloma is you're diagnosed at it smolders for a while, and then the smoldering 10% per year progress to active disease, and once it's active, you get treated with a possible combination of drugs or a stem cell transplant, or just recently a CAR T therapy just came on the market. But all of these, including the most recent CAR T, relapse. And what happens at relapse is there's this clonal evolution that happens where there's mutations that happen, and over time, there are more mutations until it becomes refractory, and the cancer no longer responds to any treatment. The leader in the category is a company that was called, well, the leading drug is called Revlimid. It was created by Celgene, which is now owned by Bristol Myers Squibb, and they're about $12 billion a year in revenue. And what's unique about Revlimid is it created a maintenance therapy for this disease, so it holds the remission for a longer period of time. How I got involved with the disease is my wife Jenny was diagnosed in August of 2010. And it's a rare disease that you've never heard of before. After Jenny went through 2 stem cell transplants, we got after it. And we created the HealthTree Foundation, which is now the largest foundation in the world, serving more patients than any other cancer foundation for this disease of multiple myeloma. And Jenny is the CEO and runs the foundation. We developed some unique assets with the foundation, including the largest patient registry in the world of 10,000 living patients, where we have an active relationship with. And part of the research along the way, Jenny said, nobody's getting cured. We have a lot of data on this disease. Jenny is considered one of the world experts, is on the advisory board of 7 pharma companies now, and nobody's getting cured. We're extending remissions. Once in a while, people are out longer, but she said she started asking these questions, and what is the ultimate? Where does this go? Where does this end up? And this answer keeps coming back from the experts. This is Dr. William Matsui, who at the time was at he's at UT Austin right now, and back in the day, he was back east when we asked him the question. And he said, personalized medicine, the ultimate is using your own immune system to recognize and stop the cancer. And wouldn't that be great if our immune system has 3 different states. The first state is I can see it and I can actively deal with it, and the third state is I can't see it and I'm not dealing with it. So this creates an opportunity for a new category of drug in this cancer therapy, another treatment, which would be a cancer vaccine. Now, the goal of the vaccine, if you think about it, the whole world now gets vaccines. The goal of the vaccine is to not eliminate the cancer burden, but you need to drop the cancer burden with a stem cell transplant, a CAR T, or triple combination, or quad. But once it's in that state and the disease is weakened, the vaccine can play an interesting role to maintain that remission, similar to what Revlimid is doing, and also eliminate the side effects and these clonal mutations that continue to happen. So Jenny identified this and pointed me in the direction of the top vaccines in the world, and after research, I ended up buying GVAX. It's in phase 2 trials at Johns Hopkins right now. I bought it from Meridian Therapeutics and Chinook Therapeutics, and completed the acquisition about a year ago. What's unique about GVAX is several things, as you'll see. But one, it's an off-the-shelf drug, so it doesn't have to be customized or personalized for the individual. I'll show you how that works in a second. It completed a phase 1 at Hopkins, very successful, and amazing data came out of the phase 1 study. And we're currently in phase 2 at Johns Hopkins. And so Our goal is to get approval at phase 2. So after the Series A, get approval, FDA approval at phase 2. There is a history of this in the myeloma category, the most recent being Xpovio, where they got approved at phase 2 using case-match data. They didn't even have a control arm. They used case-match data and got phase 2 approval. So for terminal orphan diseases, and I met with the head of FDA twice on this issue. They are open to accelerating trials for this area. So here's a cartoon that shows kind of how it works, if you're curious of how the cure for cancer is going to look. Dr. Borrello there's been many years and hundreds of millions have gone into the GVAX vaccine, mostly in solid tumor cells. The assets that we purchased most recently was for pancreatic cancer, which was a failed trial. But Dr. Borrello has been tinkering in his lab, and I said, how did you figure this out when nobody else did? He said, I figured out the ratio of these cancer cells to the bystander cell line, and which he calls K562, and which generates what he calls GM-CSF. So this is the macrophage stimulating factor, and what it does is you take the mutant cancer cells where at the end of your disease, these are the cells that nothing will treat. And scientists grow these up in a lab, and they put them in test tubes and sell them to people. So we buy those cancer cells, and these are the most mutant cells that are refractory to all treatments. And then we put it with a delivery system, irradiate that, and in the right ratio, it generates this GM-CSF. Too much GM-CSF, it creates a bad immune response. Too little, nothing happens. And he figured out the right ratio to generate enough to tell your immune system, hey, this cancer's here, it's bad, go get it. And it basically turns your immune system on to this specific signature of these cell lines. Dr. Borrello on the left is the inventor. He's the head of myeloma and immunologist at Johns Hopkins. Co-inventors include Kim Noonan and Dr. Mohammed Hossein. What's interesting about Dr. Mohammed Hossein is he was the global head of vice president for global myeloma at Celgene, the guy that drove the FDA process for the Revlimid and the approval. So he was the head of that program, which is in charge of this $12 billion a year blockbuster drug. When they sold this to BMS, he retired, and he's now working with us for equity. So that's good. I couldn't afford him. I'm the least important person on the team, but we have Brian Cummings, my good friend, who's helping us and drive this, and we have David Schmickel, one of the top league attorneys, and we're a pretty lean team. We have an advisory board, are the top researchers in the world at UC San Francisco, NYU, Mayo Clinic, MD Anderson, and also Miami Health. And these are good friends of ours that have agreed to take the trials and expand it into their various hospitals. So as we talk about this myeloma always comes back and it's refractory eventually. What if we could deliver a vaccine at this first, what they call minimal residual disease? And so you have a little bit of disease left and you drop the vaccine right there, or catch it early, catch it before it progresses. So this is the theory behind it. Here's the data from the phase 1 trial, and it was a small study, and the results surprised everybody. It's a 15-person study. So the top line shows that after 8 years, the median survival number has not been met yet, meaning more than 50% of the patients have not relapsed after 8 years of the beginning of the trial. The other two are interesting graphs. The one that goes out and goes down a little bit, those are patients that had a complete remission, so no detectable cancer. They were too healthy to get into the trial. And the other one were patients that looked just like this, but were chasing their disease with multiple treatments and everything available to them, including stem cell transplants. And over 75% of the patients that were in the control arm, observation arm, relapsed within 3 to 4 years. This is another astonishing graph. So we have access to 10,000 patients, and Dr. Mohammed came up with this idea of a case-match study. So this is interesting. We looked at patients that, we have many more. This was the first 10 we identified, where these were patients that looked exactly like these patients in these case matches. And we looked at time to next treatment. And the top line, it shows that none of the GVAX patients received follow-on treatments. This was the only thing they got in the last 8 years. While 100% of everybody else is iterating and changing their treatments. So they're still chasing their disease. This is the trial design for phase 1. That little blue band right there is where they're trying to treat patients. So before their protein spike hits at where it's above 0, and there's detectable cancer, they give the vaccine in that zone. I got 2 more charts. I'm sorry if you, but I'll try to make them interesting. What's astonishing about this is the progression-free survival, PFS, is greater than OS, overall survival. Astonishing. You've never seen a study where there are more people that have died than have progressed on the cancer. And which means they're dying of old age. One died of a heart attack. They're not dying with cancer. And so we haven't hit median survival after 8 years on a terminal cancer that has a median survival of 5 years. This is the protein spike. So when the cancer comes back, how do you measure this? You measure by the spike goes up, and it usually keeps going up. But what's happening here is the cancer is going up, the immune system is seeing it, and it's knocking it back down. I call it the whack-a-mole effect. And doctors maybe are too anxious to treat, like, well, let's just get after this thing. But there's clearly maintenance of this disease. So while the cancer has not gone away, the immune system sees it, and it's managing it. And it's patient number, it's the square. I can't see it clearly, but it's a red one. It's either 14 or 2. You can see it kind of goes up to the line and down and back up and down. Normally, they would have treated that patient with something else, but clearly the immune system is managing this. What this eye chart says is, at the very beginning of it, there's an immune response. So when they started the trial, all 4 charts are different immune markers of the patients. And what it says, there were no immune markers for this cancer at the beginning of the trial. And they'd all been on Revlimid for 6 months. GVAX was introduced, also with Prevnar, and there was a combination of GVAX and Prevnar. And in every case, every patient had an immune response regardless of the immune system marker. So all those dots up and to the right are good dots. So, so this looks like it could be a durable, provide a durable immune response for the myeloma. And we have proven that we're generating immunity to the disease. This is groundbreaking. Very broad response. They have immunal response to clones that they did not have in the beginning. And so we were able to grow up and protect them for future immune clonal evolution as that happened. They received 4 doses of the vaccine over 6 months in the trial, and then no further treatment after that. So I purchased the assets a year ago. I know it's a strange company. We've taken no outside money, so we're at phase 2 with no outside funding. That's also probably a first. We're building on the back of a lot of research that has been done before us. We have 8 issued patents that we purchased. We filed 2 more patents, and then we have 1 more patent that's in process. If this works in myeloma, this is a platform that could be applied first to probably other blood cancers and then other cancers, potentially even solid tumors down the path. But the last solid tumor trial did not work, so yet to be determined there. I'm raising a friends and family round, so we can only carry it so far, and it's been a lot of fun, but we probably need to bring some people in that understand this. So we're looking for investors that get this, that get the disease, get the pharma space, and are experts that could help us and add value to this. So we're basically going to raise around up to $5 million. I haven't set the terms. I'll allow an investor to set those terms. But one of the exciting things is we are going for FDA approval at phase 2. So that's it. On the investment side, which I don't care that much about, but I am an investor, but I should. There should be an interesting valuation increase if this works. I guess that's an understatement, but well, I guess it'd be, you cure cancer, I think there's gonna be some money there. Okay, that's all, thank you.
Hey, Paul, it's really exciting technology. One question I had was the platform opportunity. Once, assuming you get approval, it works in multiple myeloma, can you talk a bit about the strategy you would have to go after those other tumors?
Well, we're on the platform, we're going to hit myeloma first because that's the cancer my wife has and why we did this. We're going to then go after the blood cancers. We think many of these blood cancers can also be brought down to the MRD status through a transplant. So AML, CLL, ALL, and we can bring the tumor burdens down, and then you could treat it. So any cancer that can get to minimal residual disease status is a candidate to go take the mutant cells that happen at end stage, bring them back up, put them in a delivery mechanism, generate the right ratio to this GM-CSF, this macrophage stimulating factor, that then basically turns your immune system on and turns it on back to phase 1. So I think anything could be a candidate at that point. What's interesting, Dr. Borrello said, this is so simple. Like, it's simple. He said, of all the stuff I've done in my career, this is one of the more simple technologies. And he said, I just kept iterating and iterating, first in mouse models, and it started working there, and then they went to the phase 1 trials, and they were shocked at the results. They don't know exactly why it works. He's got tons of slides and data behind it and some theories behind it, but he's not exactly sure how they tipped off the immune system. And there's been literally, in the companies that I purchased, there was over $250 million in research and investment that went into those. And there's still a lot that's unknown. So this was the first major breakthrough. So yes, we would be iterating and trying other stuff on the heels of this.